Next up, I had the opportunity of meeting this young man actually right around the time that we started to do the work with the vaccine equity work. And it was interesting because sometimes we're separated by a decade, right? And we think, well, we come from a different generation, but I think that's a false narrative. I think that's something that's projected on us to disconnect the struggle that we know is common. And unless we really grasp the intersection of our struggles, not generations, but just the struggle across all generations, it's going to be hard to find that common purpose. But everyone here today understands what that common purpose is. And I just want to introduce this young brother, Mr. Harrison Tuttle, Executive Director of the Black Lives Matter Rhode Island Political Action Committee. Someone who has had the courage to push, to make people feel uncomfortable, but with truth, to present programmatic changes, legislative language that can actually survive not only for our generation, but for 7 generations that will come.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming out today to support Dr. All of the things that we're talking about today have been talked about for generations, built upon by our leaders of the past in our community, here in Rhode Island and throughout the country. And what are our main issues? What are our main issues? How are we being oppressed? How are we going to identify being oppressed? Well, we know what they are because we go through it every day. Housing, education, food, mental health resources, healthcare. All of these major systemic issues that we face on a day-to-day basis that affect our living. And it's about being able to identify those situations, identify solutions, and then how do we move forward? In order to understand, to move forward as something that is chronically affecting us on a day-to-day basis, we have to understand that change is uncomfortable. And change is something that what we have currently is not possible. If we continue to operate under the same day-to-day structures of government that we have been oppressed by for hundreds of years, we are going to die. This is an active genocide of our people. So how do we create change? We have to build trust in our own community. First, we have to build support systems and understand that the police cannot protect us and be the same people that are pepper spraying our children and the same people that are killing our people. And understand that these elected officials that we have who couldn't even pass a police accountability bill this session are not for our rights. They are not for the best interest of our people. They're not interested in the further development of the working class people. And that is one of the biggest things that is being overlooked. Black, white, brown, Latino, white. One common thread. So you've got a group of people that are profiting off of the hard work of a lot of people. And that's been happening for thousands of years, no matter what economic system that you look at. So how do we create a power structure? How do we flip that power structure in which the working class person, the person working every day to make ends meet, are able to have all of those 5 things that I listed: healthcare, housing, education, shelter, food? How can we do that? It starts with electing progressive officials, keyword progressive, that are able to make change, to impact systems of oppression that are going under the working class people. Dr. Muñoz is doing that. Dr. Muñoz is out there every single day with the working class people. Rain or shine. He's out there at the Pride events. He's out there at the marches. He'll be there this Saturday when we protest. Because kids are dying in the streets, kids are getting pulled over, pepper sprayed, and beaten. And that happened last week. So I want to be here today, and I want to be able to get that message out to everybody, because we all know the issues. But in order to create solutions, we need to elect politicians that are willing to stick their neck out and not be scared of not gaining political points with the police officers. That includes Dan McKee, that includes our Governor Dan McKee, that includes Mayor Jorge Elorza. These people refuse to speak to the people that actually are calling for change, and in fact, change never ends up happening. And that is one of the most frustrating parts, because after a year of protesting and thousands of people calling for action and bringing tangible solutions, nothing. What do we have?
Thank you.
What do we have? Right? So let's create that change. Let's continue to advocate for change. And if it pisses people off, well, so be it. Because our lives are on the lines, and black lives will always matter. Thank you.
I appreciate those words so much. You know,